All right, so here's how you can use some simple triggers and slide layers to simulate your own Lightbox effect in Storyline. So maybe you want a little bit more control or additional spacing or animation options for the way the Lightbox comes in and the built-in Lightbox isn't doing the job. You can go ahead and just build out something that really creates the same effect using your own triggers. So I'll go ahead and start with just a blank slide, a blank scene, and double click and get in here. So in this example, we're just going to work with a solid background. So I want to fill this shape background. So format background. And I want to select a picture or texture fill. So let's go ahead and find that real quick. And that works. So in this one, because we don't have any objects to actually click, there's nothing on the slide, right? It's just that background image. We actually want to add something like a hotspot, right? So hotspot's actually a good option here. So insert hotspot. And I could select the free form, but I think the rectangle is going to work totally well here. Now by default, if you look over here in the triggers panel, it wants to show a layer, but we don't actually have a layer yet to show. So let me just rename this base layer. And right down here in the bottom left, we'll click new layer to create a new slide layer. And let's go ahead and just show chicken. So we want to do a couple things. We want to bring in that black shape that sort of hides most of the base layer, but just lets in a little bit of it with some transparency. And then of course, whatever text or objects that we have on this layer that we want to show. So let's go ahead and add that shape first. So shape, rectangle, and that's not the color. So let's go to format, select black, and I'll take off the outline. Right click this and we'll choose format shape, and we can just let in a little bit of transparency, just add a little transparency to let us see a little bit of what's on that base layer. It doesn't really matter, you can dial in whatever you like. Close, and now let's go ahead and just bring in the next image. So we're just adding some content on this, right? So this is basically what you would do if you were building out the slide and then you were loading that as a Lightbox slide. We're actually creating all this on a slide layer rather than a new slide. So I'll just add a quick button here. Now the button is how we're going to close out, right? Because we're not working with the built-in Lightbox. We actually need to add our own button that says close out when we're finished. So I love these built-in icons. So maybe the X symbol, and that works. We could do some more with this if we wanted. But we want to add a trigger. We need a trigger that tells when you click this, go ahead and hide this layer and then show us what we have back on this the base layer. So I select the button, go ahead and add trigger. Just need one trigger, and that is the hide layer. And then this layer. So click OK, and that's all we need to do. You know, one thing we could do though real quick, I'm going to jump back. We could work with some transitions or animations to bring this in. So right now it's just going to appear. So we have a couple options. In the animations tab, we could actually add a slide transition to fade everything in a certain way, or we could add individual animations using the entrance animations. Maybe we want the black cover to kind of fade in a little bit quicker and then bring in the content. So we could do something like fade in fast, fade in medium, and then probably add the same thing to the button, right? Fade in medium. All right, so let's go ahead and just give it a try. We'll preview the scene because we're actually working on that new one. Didn't work. Why? Didn't work because we didn't add our trigger, right? Show layer, we didn't assign anything yet. So we need to go back here to chicken. Now let's try it. Hey, it looks great. So what's the fastest way to get from this first layer that's complete and get those other 4 or 5 layers in there? I would just duplicate it. So with this layer selected, just duplicate it and then name it something new, right? And then just right click, change picture, whatever you need to do to customize it, but just duplicate it like that. So if I jump back here, now I just need another hotspot over here. I could just control click and drag or add a new one. This is probably just as fast either way. And now I don't want to show chicken, I want to show milk, and so on, right? So we'll go ahead and make this available in the forums, but neat way to kind of customize and create your own Lightbox effects in Storyline.